Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be creating a custom view modifier to fix a little annoyance that I have with SwiftUI. So if you're ready to learn more, stay tuned. Let's learn together. So here we are in a brand new Xcode project. Now the annoyance that I have is that whenever we have a button in SwiftUI, and let's call our button Click Me, and it does a thing, so it does a thing, whatever that thing is. And then if we want to disable this button, we have to use a negative case. So disabled is always checking the negative case. And that's annoying to me because everything else inside of SwiftUI is checking for the positive case. And actually checking for the positive case whenever you're doing certain conditionals is actually best practice whenever you are doing anything in code. And so it's a little annoyance to me that I'd love to fix today, where I don't have to use disabled. I could use enabled instead, so that we could check the positive case. So to help that make a little bit more sense, let's just go ahead and start building it out. So we will start by building a view modifier. And in order to do that, we will create an enabled modifier here. And our enabled modifier will conform to view modifier. And we do, in fact, need to take the content. Great. And then we also need to pass a parameter to that. And we'll check if the thing is enabled. So we will say that it is that our content is disabled if it is not enabled. I know it's a little bit of a trick and a little bit of play on words, but it will help my brain at least make a little bit more sense, and hopefully it'll help yours too. So I don't want to have to call enable modifier and pass all of this stuff down. I want to use it, and I want it to look just like our disabled modifier does here. So in order to do that, we will create an extension on our view, and we will call this a func enabled, and we will pass in a is enabled property here, and this property will be a Boolean, just like that. And then it will return some view. There we go. And our view will be a modifier with our enabled modifier, and we'll pass through the is enabled property to that view. Very cool. So now, instead of passing disabled true, we could instead pass dot enabled false, and then we should be able to get rid of our disabled here, and it should look exactly the same. Great, and it does. Now usually you don't want to just pass either true or false. Usually whenever you're disabling a thing, there's at least a little bit more complex logic, if not a lot more complex logic that actually runs whether this is true or false. So this may look something like this. So we'll create a function here, and we'll say is button enabled, and it returns some sort of Boolean. And usually this would say something like if our, and we'll just say we have a text view 2 here, so we'll add a quick state var of text, and it equals an empty string, and our text will be on our text field, and it will take a title of text and a binding to that text variable. There we go. Cool. So now we'll say if our text dot is empty and our text dot count is less than 5, then we want to return false. Otherwise, we want to return true. So this is a little bit more realistic of something that you would want to do here. So now we could instead say, is our button enabled here? Just like that. With the built-in function of disabled, we would have to say, is button enabled? No, just kidding. I actually want the negative of is button enabled. And that's a little more complicated for at least my brain. And so that's why I wanted to actually go ahead and build a view modifier that would do the same thing, and it would check our enabled state instead of our disabled state. And with that, hopefully you've learned how to build a quick and easy view modifier to clean up some of the disabled negative logic that is built in by default with Apple. Now, if you got value from this video, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you decide to leave a comment, just be nice about it. That's all I ask. Thanks. Have a great day.